Like some of you out there, you're wondering how can you get more out of life when there's 20% inflation affecting everybody? Well, here's a couple things that you could take into account. If you're into real estate, or if you're a veteran that's also investing in real estate, or you know somebody who is a veteran, you can partner up and then look at locations where people are moving to from places like California, New York, Texas, etc., to places like Florida where real estate is cheaper, cash in on those veteran benefits, and then, of course, get the lower interest rate with zero money down. That's a legal way of doing it. And because all these people are now fluctuating and moving towards these locations like Florida and other places like Ohio and things like that, that have relatively low real estate costs, the 20% inflation is not going to affect you as much because of the fact that these people are used to paying thousands upon thousands of dollars for a one bedroom or a two bedroom apartment. For instance, in New York City, a one bedroom apartment could cost you easily $2,100 to $2,500 depending on how nice it is. If it's a two bedroom, you're looking at a hell of a lot higher. In California, a two bedroom can range from $2,500 all the way up to about $3,000 to $4,000 depending on your location. So when you go to places like Florida or Ohio or Iowa or Utah or Las Vegas, and you see these cheap real estate costs, and the monthly rent is super low and a one bedroom costs maybe $1,600, it looks like a big savings to those that are coming from that environment. So you can cash in on this time right now to see where everybody is migrating to and invest in those locations, because those locations are going to be built up. Now, another way you could cash in and still save money with 20% inflation is you can utilize AI, especially Google's Gemini, since it has real-time access to the internet, or applications like GasBuddy and things like that. But one of the things you want to use AI for is looking up things like promo codes or coupons, or sites that have coupons for things like groceries, gas, and things like that. GasBuddy is great. However, if you utilize AI, such as Gemini, it could tell you what gas applications will help you save, at least 20% on gas per gallon, if not a little bit less. I think it's about 15 or so. So these are some other ways you can cut corners to go ahead and save money and put more money in your pocket. Now, if you are investing when it comes to having inflation right now, I know that doesn't mean much, but what you want to do is you want to put your money into an asset. Because why? Because when inflation rises, the cost of everything goes up. So let's, for instance, look at an iPhone back in 2020 compared to an iPhone now. It went up by 20%. If you invested in the stock market in 2020, your investment, the asset that you purchased, went up by 20%. That's a 20% return on your investment, otherwise known as an ROI. So these are just some things that I wanted to help you guys with, because I noticed that with the 20% inflation since 2020, I think it's a little higher now. I think it's around 21 or 23% inflation within 4 years. The average raise is maybe 3 to 5%. So therefore, you're going to have to learn to cut corners and make more money or save money in ways that you never thought of before. So when you're taking this information, take it with a grain of salt, but go ahead and put some of it to use. If you thought this was helpful, go ahead and leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe for more information like this. But let's get back into the video. So one of the things you can do if you're balling on a budget, but you do have some money to invest, I would suggest the Robinhood app. The reason why is because you can take your money, put it into the Robinhood app, and then invest your money into something like the S&P 500, the Vanguard S&P 500. There's a lot of them, the SPX and things like that. What this does is a collection of, or I should say a portfolio of companies that you can go ahead and put your money into, and it grows over time. And if you go on Robinhood right now, I'll leave a link down below for you guys. You can go ahead and literally look at, just like you could do with AI, the research behind, what were the trends? Did the stock grow in the last 3 to 5 years? You want to look at that 3 to 5 year time period, because remember, we were in a volatile state, or I should say we were going through COVID at the time. So you want to see exactly what survived, what didn't survive within the last 3 to 5 years. An upward trend is a good investment, especially if it has a 5-year upward trend. And that's normally done with the S&P 500, because if they don't meet their quota, they kick the company out and replace it with another one that's actually doing well and doing good in society so that the stock and the portfolio can keep increasing. So when you're doing your research, you can literally go onto AI and ask it to tell you the top S&P 500 stocks that had consecutive growth over the last 3 to 5 years over 20%. And it should give you a list of different S&P 500 stock index funds that you can go ahead and invest into, that you can then go ahead and place your money into, knowing that for the last 5 years, it's grown consecutively year over year, and it has more than 20% growth over year, meaning that if you put $100 in, or over time, it'll turn into $120, depending on the market. Now, if inflation keeps rising the way it does, that also means that your money keeps going up. So, for instance, if you invested in 2020, and then last year we hit 20% inflation. Your money went up 20% because everything went up by 20%. Now that we're in 2024 and it's at 23%, guess what? Your money is still compounding. I don't know if you guys study Warren Buffett, but he said compound interest is the secret to wealth building. So if you like this video, go ahead again and hit that like button and leave me a comment if you're curious and let me know your thoughts. Till next time, take care. Have a great day.